Hello, I'm Daisy from Yeezy and I'll be accompanying you through the Evolvulus crochet bag. Let's see what's inside the crochet kit. This is the yarn we are going to use. From round 1 to round 5. This is the round 1 square. We are going to start on the round 1 square we provided in that package since it's easier to start. The crochet hook, which is covered with Teflon, so the surface of the hook is very smooth. The end of the crochet hook tells you the diameter of the hook. Here we are going to using a 3.5 millimeters crochet hook. Threading needle. Use it to hide excess yarn. Marker clip. Used in round 1 crochet. First, take out the round 1 square and the yarn from the package. Let's review the difference between a chain stitch and a double crochet. This is the double crochet structure, and there are 3 double crochets in this section. The edges of the cubes are chain stitch structures. Let's observe the round 2 to learn the structure of it before we start. In the round 2, we need to crochet 3 double crochets, 3 chain stitches, and 3 double crochets into each corner space of the round 1. Each corner is connected by a chain stitch. Round 2 is composed of 4 sets of these corner crochets. Let's start the round 2 crochet. First, take out the yarn. Wrap the yarn around our little finger and index finger to hold the yarn. Pinch the yarn with thumb and middle finger. Then pinch round 1 square and yarn at the same time. The back will look like this. Take out the hook. Insert our hook into this space. Yarn over and pull the hook through the space. Yarn over again and pull through the loop that's left on hook. The first slip stitch has been made. Then we are going to chain 3 chain stitch. Yarn over. Pull through the loop on the hook. This is what we call the chain stitch. We need 2 more chain stitches. Yarn over. Pull through the loop. Yarn over. Pull through the loop. Now we have the chain 3, which is our pretend double crochet stitch and the starting point of each round. Place the yarn from the back to the front and hold it with our fingers to make it easier to crochet. The back will look like this. We need to hide the yarn with double crochet. Let's start with it. First, yarn over. We have 2 loops on the hook. Hold the loop with finger so it won't move around. Yarn over. Bring the yarn through. And we have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over again. And pull through the first 2 loops on your hook. Now 2 loops left on the hook. So yarn over and pull through the remaining 2. We just finished the first double crochet and we need 1 more. Yarn over. And go into the space. Yarn over. Bring it through the space. And we have 3 loops. Yarn over. And pull through first 2. Yarn over again. And pull through the remaining 2. The first triple chain stitches is the pretended double crochet. So we have completed our first set of triple double crochets. And slide them together to make them form a square. Crochet 3 chain stitches as the corner and the space of round 2. The last chain stitch. We gonna crochet 3 double crochets into the same space. The first one. The second one. And the last one. Pop a chain stitch after these 3 double crochets. Now we've formed a complete corner of round 2. Cut off excess yarn with scissors. Let's crochet the next corner. From now on, the caption will use abbreviations. Crochet 1 chain stitch to connect the previous corner. Now we're halfway to round 2. 3 double crochets. 3 chain stitches. 3 double crochets, forming a corner. And 2 corners are connected by 1 chain stitch. Next, move on to finish the remaining half. Crochet 3 double crochets, 3 chain stitches, and 3 double crochets. We already finished 3 corners. Let's finish the last one. At this point, we've finished crochet the round 2. Next, we need to connect the beginning to the end. Find the space between the first 3 chain stitches and the double crochet. Insert our hook into this space. Yarn over. Bring the yarn through. And we have 2 loops on the hook. Pull the first loop through the another loop. And the slip stitch has been made. Cutting the yarn with scissors. Pull out the yarn with crochet hook. Adjust it. Next, we use the needle to hide the yarn. Yarn the needle. Find the stitch on the side of the square. Use the needle to pass through the stitch from side to side. Use scissors to cut off the excess yarn. Then flatten the squares. First of all, let's put the 3 rounds all together and compare them. Compared to round 1. Round 2 has a center space. Center space crochet is 3 double crochet. Both ends are chain stitches. Round 4 and round 5 in turn add 3 double crochet for the center space crochet. Round 3 has 1 set of 3 double crochet in the center. Round 4 has 2 sets of 3 double crochet in the center. And round 5 has 3 sets of 3 double crochets in the center of each side. Let's start crocheting round 3. Wrap the yarn around our little finger. Pinch the yarn. Hold the yarn and round to square together. The back will look like this. Insert our hook. Yarn over. Pull the hook through the space. Yarn over again. And pull through the loop on the hook. Go ahead to crochet 3 chain stitch. We treat the 3 chains as a double crochet. Place and hold the yarn from the back to the front. Continue with 2 double crochets. Slide them together. To make it easier to make the next 3 double crochets. The remaining 3 center spaces are also crocheted in 3 double crochet. Then moved on to the next edge space crochet. The second center space. Now, we're halfway to round 3. 1 edge space crochet and 1 center space crochet as one set. We have completed 2 sets. Next, we need to crochet an edge space crochet, a center space crochet, an edge space crochet, and a center space crochet. 2 sets left to complete round 3. Let's start the last edge space crochet. And the last center space. At this point, we've finished crochet round 3. Need to connect the first and the last. Find the first space between 3 chain stitch and double crochet. Insert our hook into this space. Yarn over. Bring the yarn through. And we have 2 loops on our hook. Pull the first loop through the another loop, and the slip stitch has been made. Cutting the yarn with scissors. Flatten the square. Thread the needle. Find the stitches on the edge of the square. Pass the needle through the center of the stitch from side to side. Cut off excess yarn with scissors. Now we're done with the round 3 of crochet. Let's learn the crochet structure of round 4. 3 double crochets, 3 chain stitches, and 3 double crochets form the edge space. Besides, 3 double crochets form the center space, all connected by a chain stitch. Each side need to crochet to center spaces and 1 edge space. The above needs to be repeated 4 times for 4 sides. Let's start crocheting round 4. Hold the yarn and the square together. Insert our hook into this space. Yarn over. Pull the hook through the space. And yarn over again. Pull through the loop on your hook. Go ahead to crochet 3 chain stitch. Place and hold the yarn from the back to the front. Cut off excess yarn with scissors. Next, start with crocheting the center space. We've finished crochet half of round 4. There is one edge space and 2 sides of center spaces left to crochet. Then we crochet 3 double crochets in this center space. Crochet the last chain stitch of round 4. Then crochet a slip chain to connect the first and the last. Find the first space between 3 chain stitch and double crochet. Insert our hook into this space. Yarn over. Pull the hook through the space. Pull through the loop on the hook. Reserve a portion of the yarn and cut the rest off. Pull the yarn out with hook. Adjust it. Thread the needle. Find the stitches on the edge of the square. Pass the needle through the center of the stitch from side to side. Cut off excess yarn with scissors. Flatten the square. After crocheting, it will look like this. Only round 5 is left to crochet. Round 5 has 1 edge space and 3 center space crochets of the each side. Repeat 4 times. Let's start crocheting the round 5 together. Wrap the yarn around your hands to hold the yarn. Crochet a chain stitch. We've finished crochet half of round 5. There are 1 edge space, 3 center spaces, 1 edge space, and 3 center spaces left to crochet. Then we crochet 3 double crochets in this edge space. To complete round 5, we need a slip stitch to connect the first corner and the last corner we just made. Find the hole between the first 3 chain stitches and the first double crochet. Insert our hook into this hole. Yarn over and pull through the hole. Also, the loop left on your hook. And the slip stitch has been made. Cut the yarn with scissors. Pull out the yarn with the hook. Adjust it. Let's use the needle to hide the yarn. Thread the yarn through the needle. Find the stitches on the side of the square. Use the needle to thread through the stitch from side to side. Cut off the excess yarn. After hiding, it will be like this. Then flatten the square. Congratulations! You just made your first granny square. Next, let's go back and learn how to crochet round 1. It's easier than the other rounds. 3 double crochets and 3 chain stitches as one set. Round 1 is made up of 4 sets. And the center ring is made up of 5 chain stitches. Okay, let's start round 1 crochet. Take out the yarn. First, you are going to make a loop. Flip the loop. Pinch this line with your fingers. Then pull out through the circle. Insert your hook into this loop. and pull the yarn to fix it. Wrap the yarn around your fingers to hold the yarn. Then pop a chain stitch. And then we need to mark it. Take out a marking clip and clip it on the first chain stitch that we made just now. Pop another 4 chain stitches. Now you have 5 chain stitches. Then we need to crochet a slip stitch into the first stitch that marked by the marking clip. Insert our hook into the first stitch. Remove the marking clip. Yarn over. Pull through the stitch. And pull the first loop through another loop on the hook. The 5 chain stitches create a space. Let's mark the space with a marking clip. Pop 3 chain stitches like what we did in the other rounds. We need to pinch the excess yarn with the marked space to make it easier to hide it during the knitting process. And we need to pop 2 double crochets through the marked space. Don't forget to pinch the excess yarn around the space. And we are going to make 3 sets of 3 double crochets plus 3 chain stitches. It's easy to see where the space is. So we can remove the clip now. Pinch the excess yarn with the marked space. Now we finished the half of round 1. Let's crochet the rest to sets of 3 double crochets plus 3 chain stitches. We finished round 1 crochet. We need to use a slip stitch to connect the end and the first. Find the hole formed by the first triple chain stitches and the first double crochet, and insert your hook into this hole. Yarn over and pull through the hole. Also the loop left on your hook. And the slip stitch has been made. Cut the yarn with scissors. Pull out the yarn with the hook. Adjust it. Let's use the needle to hide the yarn. Use the needle to thread through the stitch from side to side. Cut off the excess yarn. We can see that there are still threads showing on the back. Tighten it up first. Then cut off all the excess threads. We have completed round 1. Okay, now let's connect to granny squares together. Let's start by looking at the front of the square. The front side will be like a shallow bowl like this. This side you are facing while crocheting. This is the back side. Put the 2 granny squares together and let their fronts face to face. All we need to do is to connect stitches on the sides of the 2 squares with a needle. Let me explain the detail. It is necessary to thread the needle through the stitches at the same position on both squares, so that your granny square bag will look great. Let's begin. Pick up the yarn. The length of the yarn we are going to use must be longer than 3 times of the length of the sides of the square. Let's begin. Thread the needle. First, find out the middle chain stitch of the edge space. The second one is where we started. The second chain stitch of the edge space, which we call the center stitch. Thread through center stitch of 2 squares with needle. In order to facilitate subsequent stashes, we need to leave a little bit of thread long enough here. Run it again into the same stitch. And go through the loop. Pull the yarn to make it tighter. We've just made a knot. By the way, we can put this yarn between the 2 squares to hide it. Go ahead and run the needle through the stitches. Since it might be difficult to connect the back, we don't have to tie it too tight. We've come to the middle. Maybe there's not enough yarn left to crochet the whole way. Let's learn how to replace the yarn with a new one if you find it's not long enough during the crochet process. Let's connect another stitch. Run it again into the same stitches. And go through the loop. Tie a knot. Change a new yarn and repeat the above step for the next stitch. Connect the next stitch. Run it again into the same stitches. And go through the loop. And just keep connecting the rest stitches normally. We managed to replace the yarn that wasn't long enough. Keep connecting. We came to the center chain stitch in edge space where our connection ended. This is the last one. We need to make a knot to end it. Now make a knot. Here's what it looks like from the front. Okay, last step. Let's hide the yarn. Go through the first 3 loops. Find the stitch in the center of the double crochet. Then go through the loop of the double crochet. Cut the excess yarn. Of course, you can also choose to cut them off after you complete the bag. Same steps on the other side. Go through the first 3 loops. Go through the stitch. Then go through the loop of the double crochet. Cut the excess yarn. Flatten the squares. Now, let's take out the third granny square. Look at the curves on the front. We're going to connect the 2 granny squares we just made to this one. Stack them face up on top of each other. We're going to connect this side. Take out the yarn. Thread the needle. Find the second chain stitch, which we call the center stitch. Stitching from the center chain, stitch in the edge space, as before. Pass the needle through the center stitches in the same hole, leaving a little yarn behind. Repeat in the same position. Pass through the loop and pull it tight. Hide the yarn between the 2 squares. Continue with the needle through the next foot stitch and repeat to the next edge space. Now we come to the center stitch. Let's end it with a knot. Okay, now we've connected 3 granny squares. Let's go ahead and take out our 4th granny square. Face up. Attach it to the center granny square of the 3 connected blocks. Fold it down and make the edges line up. Continue crocheting with the yarn that was attached to the third granny square. Find the center stitch to begin. Make a knot. Repeat the connection as before. At this point, we realize that the yarn is not long enough and it is difficult to continue the stitching. Make a knot at the end stitches. Let's take some yarn. Thread the yarn. Then make a knot on the next sets of stitches. Continue. Now we come to the center stitch in edge space, where our connection ended. Make a knot. Here's what it looks like from the front. Okay, last step. Let's hide the yarn. This way our 4 granny squares are finished, like a upside-down T word. Beside the 4 pieces just connected, we also need to connect the other 3 pieces. 1 horizontal piece of 4 connected. A piece of 3 connected. And a piece of 2 connected. You can place all the pieces in order when you are prepared. Just place them like this. We're going to sew this edge. This edge. And this edge. We only show how to connect this one edge. Remove the rest. Turn them around to make it easier to crochet. Let's start by connecting this edge. Fold the T down. And start joining with the edges aligned. Sew it from corner to corner as before, stitching from the center chain stitch in the edge space, as before. Same thing at the end. We need to pay attention to the middle connection. We are going to make 3 knots. The first knot. The second knot should be put into a loop formed by the white line. I made it too tight when I sewed it up, so it is a little bit hard to see. The third knot. Take some yarn. Which is 3 times as long as the edge of the granny square. Thread the yarn. Start by find out the stitches at the diagonal. Insert the needle through the 2 stitches. Do it again. And go through the loop. Go ahead and run the needle through the stitches. We've come to the center. We need to pop 3 knots. The first knot. The second knot. The third knot. Then go ahead and run the needle. I run out of yarn again, so let's take some yarn to continue. Make a knot at the end stitches. Now we're finished connecting the T to the 4 granny squares. Hide the threads. Use scissors to cut off the excess threads. After hiding, it will look like this. Flatten it. Take the other 2 pieces you prepared before. Put them in place. Follow the steps just connected. We need to pay attention to the weak spot in the middle. And we need to connect this edge as before. Same here, mind that the weak position needs to be made 3 knots. And here. And this position as well. Okay, the rest of this side and this side are yours to crochet. Now that all the squares are connected, make sure the front side is facing up. We find the diagonal of the square in the center and fold it in half. Fold it from right to the left. And rotate it 90 to the right. Fold the 2 squares in half. The top side is the opening of the bag. And we need to connect this curve. And this curve. We'll show one side. Let's begin with the left side. The connection will start here with a knot. We need to tie 2 knots at first corner. At the second corner, we need to tie 3 knots. and end it with 2 knots. Take out the yarn. Pinch the 2 layers of granny squares and find the center stitch of the corner. Again, make a loop. And tie a knot through the loop. Then we can continue with the connection as before. Okay, we're now at the first corner of the curve. This corner needs 2 knots. Find the center stitch of these 2 squares. We're going to pass the needle through the center stitch. Repeat. Make a knot through that loop to make it more secure. And the first knot is done. Then we rotate it a bit to make it easier to crochet. This part is connected in the same way as the first 2 squares. Find the center stitch of this 2 square, pass it twice and make a knot. Okay, both knots in this corner have been made. And go ahead and continue with the connection. We made it to the second corner and need to tie 3 knots here. Stitch through the center stitch of this to squares and make the first knot. We can rotate it so that we can pinch the 2 layers of squares. The second knot is tied to the loop. Find the loop at each end. We need to cross the loop twice and make the second knot. The second knot is done. Continue with the third knot. Find the center stitch and go through both pieces at the same time. Repeat and tie the third knot. The third knot is done, and at the same time the yarn is not long enough. Take some yarn and ready to make a knot to start again. Find the center stitch and go through both pieces at the same time. Repeat and tie. This completes the 3 knots at this intersection. Then continue with the connection. Now we come to the end. Find the center stitch and go through both pieces at the same time. Repeat and make a knot. Rotate and pinch the 2 layers of the opening block. Make a knot in the center stitch on the right side for extra stability. So we've finished connecting the left side. The remaining side will need to be connected together as the same way. Now that we've got it all connected together, Let's turn it over and see how it looks. You can see that the knot at the weak point is a quadrilateral. The knots at the edges are triangles to make the bag look more beautiful. And we finished the connection. Next, we take out our crochet hook. We're going to crochet a row of single stitches around the edge of the bag opening. We need to crochet 2 single stitches in the center space of the peak position. We're going to do the same with the 2 on this side. The top corners of the squares we can call peak position. The recessed ones we can call valley position. Pay attention to the placement of each of the valley position. This is the last valley. And this is the third valley position. Okay, introduction's over. Let's get started. First, take out the yarn. And wrap the yarn around the index finger. Pinch the thread with your middle finger and thumb. Flip the loop and make a slip knot. Insert our hook into this loop and pull the yarn to fix it. We'll start at the third center space of the square. We'll put 2 single crochets into each center space of each granny square, same as the edge space. Before we start, let's find out all the holes under the top side on the bag. Let me use the needle to show you where these holes are. We are going to pop a single crochet in each hole. Okay, let's start with a single crochet in a center space. Wrap the yarn around your fingers. Insert your hook into this space. Yarn over and pull the hook through the space. Now it have 2 loops on your hook. So yarn over and pull through this to loop. Let's do it again. Insert your hook into this hole. Yarn over and pull the hook through the hole. Yarn over again and pull all the loops. Keep going to crochet along each stitches. Repeat it. Here we come to the first peak position. We need to crochet to single stitches. The first one. The second one. Do the same with the remaining 3 top positions. Continue to crochet and come to the intersection. Here we come to the first valley position. We can see 3 granny squares coming together here, and we need to crochet in these 3 center stitches. The first center stitch, the second one, the third one. Okay, let's continue the crochet through these 3 holes. Insert the hook through the first center stitch. Yarn over and pull it out. And we have 2 loops on the crochet hook. Then find the next center stitch. Yarn over again and pull it out. And have 3 loops on the hook. Crochet through the next center stitch. One more time, yarn over and pull out. Have 4 loops on the crochet hook. Yarn over again but pull out through the 4 loops all together. The crochet of the valley position is done. Continue with next hole. Insert our hook, yarn over and pull through the hole. Yarn over again and pull through both loops on the hook. Crocheting like this for the rest. And don't forget to crochet the remaining 3 low positions like we just did. Keep crocheting like this until the end. Here we come to the last single stitch. And before we finish, let's review the 4 valley positions and 4 peak positions we just crocheted. We crochet 2 single stitches at each peak position. And for each valley position, we crochet through 3 center stitch of each granny squares. Okay, let's go on to the end. We're going to make a slip stitch through the second hole at the beginning. Find the second hole of the single stitch. Insert our hook through the second hole. Yarn over and pull out through the hole. There are 2 loops on the hook. Pull the first loop through the another on your hook, and the slip stitch has been made. Cut the yarn with scissors. Pull out the yarn with the hook. Let's use the needle to hide the yarn. Thread the yarn through the needle. Find the stitch in the center of the double crochet. Go through the stitch. Then go through the loop of the double crochet. We'll pick out one line and go through again. Same way on the other side. Go through the stitch. Go through the loop of the double crochet. Pick out one line and go through again. Make a knot. Knot again to fix them. And cut the excess yarn. We finished crocheting the entire opening. The final step is installing the shoulder straps. We gonna fasten the straps to each top positions. We'll just show the front side. The back side is the same. Congratulations! You've made your very own granny square bag.